So today, Apple stock took a dip on a supply and production report. So let's take a look at the charts to see what's ahead after this report that came out that really shook things up. Now, before we look at the charts, important reminder that trading and investing can be extremely risky business. Therefore, it's your responsibility to evaluate any information, opinion, advice, or other content contained in this video. So I'm going to go a little backwards today, guys. If you're new here, I'm Hema Reddy, and I use price action, market timing, and momentum to trade the charts. Now, usually I look at charts from a top-down view in terms of time frame, okay, starting with a weekly or even a monthly chart and whittling my way down. But I want to show you how, if you look at the charts from the bottom up, especially when there's news events that really move things, you can get a different type of insight. So here we have a 5-minute chart of Apple. Okay, so every one of these candlesticks is representing 5 minutes only of price action. We have my RSI power zones down below, my favorite momentum indicator, and it's completely agnostic of time frame. So it'll be the same settings whether we're on a 5-minute chart or a hourly chart or weekly chart. And what you can see here is that there's this news that came out, right? That Apple went to its suppliers and said, hold up, don't make so many iPhone 14s. We don't see the demand for those phones like we thought we did. So that would normally be a poor sign for a stock and for the shareholders, right? And so you can see right out of the gate on the market open, it fell from 148.37 down to 144.84. That's not a small move. And a 5-minute chart will make this look as dramatic as you see here, right? Oh my God, the world is ending. We fell. We were trading up at 152 by the close on Tuesday. What happened, right? Okay, this is why I recommend looking at the longer term time frames first. But to sort of play devil's advocate here, let's analyze this 5-minute chart first. Okay, I know I'm kind of breaking your brain here, those of you who have been following me for a while. And let's do a quick analysis and then take it up a notch. So I'm just doing some really basic analysis. This is a blank chart. I don't have a lot of pre-set analysis on here. And I'm going to first connect these two lows that I see, which seem to be kind of managing the move higher off of this low post news, okay? So I'm just gonna make this a black line, so it's neutral, it doesn't really have a special meaning or anything. And at the same time, I see this high from yesterday morning and then this high from yesterday afternoon, and I want to do the same thing. So I'm going to just create a parallel of this line and I'm going to connect those two. Now I have no idea how beautifully they'll hit or miss. It's just what I see, okay? So we can see, all right, we had this extreme move, if you will, up at 154.72, extreme on a 5-minute chart. And then we fell to this low. So I use blue for resistance and pink for support. And we are now recovering. Along the way, there are other levels here that are important, so I'm going to annotate those. All right, with this in mind, you can see that we have recovered some of the fall from 152.45 and returned to this gap, right? From 151.53 on the 5-minute chart to 148.37. So that's still resistance up above, and we've already returned above this level right here. So now let's go and see how this looks on a higher time frame. So let's bring it up to a 60-minute chart. Okay, I'm not changing anything except a time frame. So notice that some of these levels look exactly the same, like the extreme high and the extreme low. But now when you look and start to consider other data on the chart, like the RSI power zones, you can see here that there is a relationship between the recent trough in the RSI and previous troughs. And that's something I go into in depth in my advanced RSI power zone system, where I talk about taking your next level RSI power zones analysis by looking at the indicator as it behaves in one particular security, not just how it behaves per my standard foundational settings. So what this tells me is that there might be more room for this recovery higher to extend. I still have these same resistance levels here in the 60-minute chart. And now I'm going to add one more. Because if we get above 154.72, and that's looking a lot more important than these other shorter term levels, so I'm going to remove 151.53. See, 151.53 was important on the 5-minute chart, but not on the 60. So I'm taking it away. The others are all showing significance on both time frames, and now I've added in a new one at 158.74. All right? Notice if we look at the action coming in, and again, we're just taking whatever the default data population is. This is going back, a little over a month. I see another trend line that I want to draw. So again, I'm not putting any specific meaning or extra information to this trend line. I'm just drawing what I see, and check this out, right? The high back at yesterday morning capped at this trend line, which has been useful. It's not been holding precisely, but it has definitely slowed down price rallies. All right, now I'm going to remove this shorter falling trend line because it's not adding value in the 60-minute chart, but the original 5-minute chart trend line is. Okay, now we're gonna do one more round and take us up to a daily chart. So after switching to a daily chart, this is what happens. That one little trend line I had on support levels, it goes vertical. That is because it was based on intraday levels, so I'm gonna take it off. But look at the trend line I drew on the 60-minute chart. It's great on the daily chart. Look at the resistance levels I have here. 147.21 is not a daily chart level. 152.45 is not a daily chart level. But now I have these two, 154.72 and 158.74, that are so strong because they are on the 5-minute and the 60-minute and the daily chart. So first things first, despite this weakness that we saw with this news, there was a recovery higher towards the end of the session, right? So if this continues on, now you know, okay, this market's got to get through 154.72 to reveal 158.74 and continue higher from there. On the flip side, if this, news shakeout day was just a shakeout and a fake out, and really the strength doesn't last, and we start turning back below today's low at 144.84, that's where I would rely on the daily chart for supports. And the simplest way to determine support levels is look at previous price lows. Now, when I say price, I mean it with a capital P, because I teach 3 different types of lows and highs: price, swing, and bar. And they all have different levels of importance, and this is detailed in all of my basic teachings, especially the winning price action playbook. Now, I'm going to add in one more level here. That's one of my favorite ways of discovering support and resistance from my 4 zones RSI. Now my soul feels complete that I did that, okay? And I want to point out one final thing in the momentum. Check it out, guys. We fell on September 8th. We fell on September 15th, and now again on September 28th. But every time that happened, there was a disconnect between the price and momentum. Price and momentum. Now, today's bar is not complete, so I'm going to make this yellow highlight dashed so we know it's not based on complete data. But this is another potential setup from my advanced RSI power zone system that's emerging. And if the setup completes in the way that it's hinting, okay, which we would have to wait at least until Thursday's close to verify, then this could be a great short-term buying opportunity for Apple for a return back to the 170, potentially the 175 or 180 area. So there you have it, okay? Sort of turning my analysis style on its head. We went from shorter term to longer term, but for those of you who are newer to chart analysis or want to brush up, you can see how this is a great way to really hone in on the best support and resistance levels, whether you're trading Apple after this report came out or anything else. So remember to subscribe, like, comment down below. Let me know what value you got from this video. Join my tribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the inside. You can sign up with the link to join my tribe and get my hot, timely, actionable updates as soon as I publish right to your inbox.